Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. So today the presentation is going to be really about the role of engineering and applied sciences in developing sustainable energy solutions. And is going to be a little bit more comprehensive, and I will cover various dimensions, starting from the role of education. We'll look at the institutional characterization, basic sciences versus applied sciences, role of engineering, dimensions of innovation, culture of innovation, concept, entrepreneurship, critical issues, really what we face today, and then moving to sustainable development and their needs. And then I will get into energy solutions, really to bring alternative dimensions into, and then I will have some closing facts to be able to conclude my presentation. So the role of engineering, of course, I will get into, but before that, I like to introduce the role of education. Education is expected really to cover innovation, vision, critical thinking, creativity, collaboration, cultural values, social responsibilities, ethics, technology, and market-driven. So we need to be able to really try to cover as many as possible out of this list in the educational program. So really, these are going to be essential to be able to achieve sustainable education. And then also in Canada, there is a kind of movement to look at the institutional characterization, and especially those with no formal innovation structure and policies. But there are some institutions with some, so making it, of course, a little bit into, and then also at the same time, really with the established innovation in the programs, along with the research portfolio. And also, of course, there are institutions where we have got really integrated innovation becoming part of every domain, from research to service. So the point I am trying to make, innovation is going to be very critical. So to look at the basic sciences versus applied sciences, I try to make this is something really to illustrate what the main or the core of my presentation is going to be. Really, when we look at the basic sciences, really these are referred to, natural sciences or pure sciences or fundamental sciences. So there are many names out there. But the key, these are really essential to be able to understand the natural phenomena and the processes happening around us. And then, of course, now the key question, how to convert these into practical solutions. And the practical solutions, of course, will require engineering. And also, of course, we have applied sciences domain. And what is this? To be able to take that knowledge and turn into solutions. So the key is really turn these into solutions. And the vehicle is going to be, or the bridge in general, is going to be engineering. So that's why I will get into this. And also to look at this particular one, this is also very important. And taking knowledge in science to technology. So that will be very important. And in this regard, when you look at this again, and the vehicle is really engineering. So the engineering dimension will be very critical in it. Of course, technologies at the end of the day will be really the ultimate goals. And now we need to remember technologies will be very critical for any country's economic development. So that's why I wanted to make this really a statement as part of this, and the economic independence depends solely on technological success. So really, at the end of the day, we need tangible technologies. So that is very critical. Getting a little more into engineering. Why engineering? And when we look at the engineering systems in general, interact with and serve many communities and also many parties. So when you look at here, people, economy, business, law, ethics, politics, culture, arts, sports. So any domain you think engineering is going to be a part of it, either by physical or maybe through the systems design. And I will give examples. So that's why bringing it down to practice of engineering. Practice of engineering is going to cover multiple tasks. And these are going to be, of course, from planning to designing, composing, evaluating, advising, reporting, directing, supervising, managing. Managing around us and anything as part of the society. And now this is going to, of course, these are going to require applications of engineering principles, and also making sure that at the end, we really safeguard people's life, health, property, and economic interests. And also making sure that we also protect the public welfare and environment. And the ultimate goal is going to be really to achieve sustainable development. So really, ultimately, we are targeting to achieve sustainable development. And when we look at the institutions, and through the engineering programs are expected to really to cover multiple things, and making sure that the students learn these really these key headings. So really making it a knowledge base. I mentioned knowledge is going to be very important, and there is a critical role of basic sciences. And then next is going to be problem analysis. And then, of course, investigation. And we should be able to know how to investigate a matter related to any engineering practice. And then, of course, to be able to design systems and to be able to use engineering tools. So how to use potential tools. This doesn't mean only, let's say, the physical tools. No, coming down to, let's say, softwares. Those are also tools. And then making individual and or teamwork, and learn about communication skills to be able to effectively communicate. And of course, we need to be really aware of professionalism and also impact of engineering on society, on the environment. Ethics and equity is going to be very important. Economics and project management and lifelong learning. So making it really throughout the life, a kind of learning experience, but making sure that that is there. So of course, finally, to have the critical component where we have the innovation and entrepreneurship skills being part of it. So one example here to bring a mechanical engineering program at Ontario Tech, and I like to, of course, show first year is common. I am trying to show, for example, here, look, math, linear algebra, basically math courses, calculus, linear algebra, physics, and then chemistry, and then calculus 2, physics 2, so on. There are many science, basic sciences related courses. Why? To start preparing the students for engineering, as mentioned before, you need to really grab the knowledge, to have that knowledge, that kind of knowledge, and to be able to proceed to bring solutions, practical solutions. And also, when I am asked to define engineer, and I make the definition as follows. Engineer is the person who turns knowledge into practical solutions. So that's why it is very critical. And when you look at this, and overall, you see the role of basic sciences is critical in engineering. And also, you see here additional courses, such as ethics, law, and professionalism. And this is very important because the engineering is, engineers are licensed in Canada. So when they graduate, so they don't have the privilege to be able to sign as engineer. So they become engineer in training, EIT, but later they are licensed, but making sure that they learn about law, they learn about ethics, so before start practicing. So there is also, of course, a kind of period work experience requirement. So that is also part of it. When you look at, for example, here, engineering, in general, mechanical engineering, if you look at the evolution, and of course, you go back to industrial revolution in 1760, and look at, for example, the vehicles, the technologies, and now reached a level where we have the drones, and then, of course, unmanned vehicles, and these are really becoming part of this process. And also, when you look at the history, and historically, there have been really leading figures in engineering. And some of most famous ones, of course, also they are so-called mechanical engineers. Al-Jazari is one of them. Very important. He made many contributions in terms of engineering, but also let me tell you, it is not only limited to engineering. In every area, he made some contributions. So really very important. And then also taking you to the importance of engineering. Engineering is a kind of a domain where we need to excel. Excelling in engineering, of course, bringing more practical solutions. And of course, you see even new engineering programs coming up almost every day. And one of them is going to be really, look at this, engineering and public policy. So you may think public policy is a kind of social domain. Why do we need to have engineering there? So if you bring solutions to people, and you need to really bring in engineering ingredients into, even healthcare systems engineering, financial engineering, business engineering, these have become a kind of popular programs. Why? Because now people want to go really traditional business practices. So more solutions-based practices. And that will require really engineering background. So making it that way, even going further to social engineering. So these are what I am trying to show. Really, engineers help shape the future. And that is at the end, again, I am dwelling on by saying, really engineers will be converting knowledge into practical solutions. That's why from basic sciences into applied sciences. And this particular mind map is very important. Look at the complexity behind and the new ways of thinking and multiple domains. And this is very important to understand. And how to understand this, we really need the engineering background. And also, of course, this is not, people shouldn't think, oh, okay, where is the role of basic sciences? Is there. If you look at the functionality, the knowledge you gain out of it, so basic sciences will be there. But the key, if we are going to benefit from this and to bring some practical solutions, we do need engineering. So that is becoming very important. And then also getting into innovation. Innovation requires people. And what are those people? Everything starts with the people. And what kind of people? Passionate people. Really to be able to make difference. And then getting, of course, into partnership will be very, which is going to be very important. And then developing right policies and processes and making a kind of 5-leg domain for innovation. And also, of course, innovation, creativity and innovation are really critical. Look over here in the province of Ontario, and these are very important in the educational system at every level, creativity and innovation. Because what at the end of the day, if you really want to develop tangible technologies, and creativity and innovation is gonna play a critical role. For a little example here, look at the Ontario's trade volume per day, over $1.5 billion. So this is a huge number, and really what makes a difference here, creativity and innovation in the system. And also, of course, there is Ministry of Research and Innovation, and similarly trying to develop a kind of innovation-based economy and society. Because I mentioned earlier that economic development is gonna require tangible technologies commercialized. So now bringing it down and to show innovation-based economy and society will require this. So, and what resources will be, and very important, we need to keep it in mind, people and their ideas. So really, people will be very important, like yourself, young people who are talented and who would be able to create things and innovate on things, and really becoming very important in this process. So really, it is necessary to develop an innovation culture. Innovation culture is going to be very important. And why? and especially if you are going to be supporting creative thinking, and of course, really at the end, create knowledge and create values, and that is going to require this kind of culture. And this is also very important. There are various institutes and developed in this regard. Also, of course, to look at the Council of Ontario Universities, this is also ultimately very important. And look at here, innovation is going to be very important in this. And also when you look at the key purpose to work together for the improvement of higher education for the people of Ontario. So at the end of the day, the common goal is really to work together and improve the education for people like yourself. Young people need really distinct education, and distinct education will require such creativity and innovation to be included in the educational system. Because at the end, if you look at here, this was past Prime Minister Jean Chrétien, and he was trying to make it, 21st century prosperity will depend on innovation. How innovative society you have developed. And also saying we shouldn't only invest in technology and innovation, and also we need to invest in people to be able to achieve that, but requiring really skills and ideas supported. And that's why people like yourself have to be supported for skill development, and also ideas to be converted into or turning into technologies or something new which will bring economic values, and also of course values at any level for the society. And there is of course a website related to this, and the government has been doing it accordingly. And also I like to show one thing which is going to be very important, folks. And look at this. And what you see over here, especially after the Second World War, and we had the economic periods, labor intensive, skill intensive, capital intensive, and then technology intensive, innovation intensive, and digital intensive. So really, these three are very critical. So these are becoming essential in our, let's say, educational system. When we train the students such as yourself and making sure that they are ready to join the workforce for tomorrow and to be able to bring such solutions. Really to look at here, industry 4.0 or society 5.0 or what else. When you look at here, of course, industry 4.0 by Germany, society 5.0 by Japan. So really, when you look at some countries around the world, they have developed their own, let's say, brand, and under the economic developments. And of course, the historical periods, as mentioned, will be very important. So every country has to do this kind of exercise, very important. To look at the global innovation, and they have been ranking the countries around the globe. And this is actually showing one global innovation index developed, and to be able to really rank the countries by considering various parameters. And very important, look at here, I like to draw your attention to this. What is this one? Knowledge and technology outputs. Knowledge is gonna come down to basic sciences and then or fundamental sciences. Look at here, creative outputs. At the end of the day, do you really create value? And this is very important. Knowledge creation into value creation. And this is what I like to emphasize as well. And this is all about. And when you look at it, they will also bring their final 22 report. If anybody is interested in, so the new report for 2022 is gonna come out in a few days. So of course, they have been ranking the countries, most innovative countries, and you see top, let's say top 7 or 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 countries, and you see first, let's say top 25. So there are really several countries leading in this. This is also at the end coming down to R&D expenditures. So how much you contribute, how much you spend on R&D and innovation. So this is something I can skip that. Of course here, look, you know, we have got, of course, social media, and you are familiar with most of them. And what you see over here, look at, ideas are turned into innovative products. And this is something very important. And in the education, it is going to be really that way, turning knowledge into tangible products, services, or systems. And that's why universities are now including this research, innovation, and commercialization. And we do have a teaching service as part of it. And this is very important. I like to skip this, and by saying before I move to energy, this is very important. Research is necessary. And we need to be able to really conduct research, and which is recognized as a path to innovation. And the innovation is going to be a prerequisite for technology development. Technology development is going to be a prerequisite for economic independence. Commercialization will be really the key for industrial development. And the result will be really about the prosperity and high quality of life. So the key I am trying to make out of this so far really started with the emphasis on basic sciences. And I, of course, from basic sciences into applied sciences, where we really bring practical solutions. And I emphasize the role of engineering in it. And also later moved into innovation. Why innovation is very important, why critical thinking is very important, why creativity will be very important. So those are to make really an innovation-based economy and society, which can generate values. And that's why it is very important. So look at the problems as we have been facing around. And you see energy, environment, economy, water, food, poverty, disease, pandemic, whatever. So you may include even more. And what you see over here, and whenever you see a ranking or maybe a list prepared by the people or institutions, and you see always energy is either number 1 or number 2 in this. And I will explain why and a little later. And look at here, we need energy solutions. Energy solutions, we need, of course, something sustainable, Renewable energy technologies will be sustainable. Clean fuel technologies from hydrogen to other carbon-free fuels such as ammonia. Efficient energy use, cleaner technologies for fossil fuels. We need to make them cleaner. Energy storage technologies, nuclear energy. We shouldn't see it only for power generation. That goes beyond. And I always tell, it is not really about the power. Of course, you generate power, which is going to be electricity at the end, but it is more about knowledge. And several countries develop their, of course, their societies based on the accomplishments in this particular area. Waste to energy is going to be very important. We need to be able to turn wastes into something useful in the form of energy or in the form of something which will bring value. System integration and multi-generation will be also very important. System integration is a general practice now, and we need to be able to really deploy that kind of practice in engineering. Of course, when we look at the energy solutions, that is also going to be very important. In terms of what portfolio to have, really we need to diversify our energy portfolio and making sure that we bring solutions and which are going to be sustainable. And also I show this is very important. And if you are discussing energy, you need to remember 3 S. What are those? Source, system, and service. Why? For anything, everything, the first thing you need is a source. What are those sources? Like nuclear, like fossil fuels, like renewables. Okay, which ones to use? And I will show. And then services, something useful to the users or communities, and such as electricity, heat, cooling, fuel, hydrogen, fresh water, and so on and so forth. Those are becoming useful outputs. So now you need to design the systems where you can really achieve the produce these commodities. And also, of course, we have 2 more S included. Why? And between source and system, such as solar energy. You have solar energy as your source. And now, as we know, sun is not shining all the time. For example, wind. Wind is not blowing all the time. So what to do? We need to include or incorporate storage into. And then what if we have the system producing excess power or more than what we need? So what to do? So that is going to require also storage. When we look at this in general, really ultimately we need to bring 3S plus 2S to help achieve sustainability. Storage options will be very important. And today, when you look at the storage technologies, because as mentioned, storage is very important to offset the mismatch between demand and supply. So how to manage it? And of course, you see here from small capacities going all the way up to very large capacities. Look at here from kilowatt or watt level going up to gigawatt level. So a gigawatt, you know, that is going to be huge, and we need storage, by the way. Also dimensions. And dimensions, I introduced the dimensions of sustainability with ease. Look at here, energy is necessary, engineering is necessary, education, economy, environment, ethics. People may question if ethics is part of it. Where is the social domain? And the social domain is under ethics. Ethics is a kind of shelter covering the entire. And this is becoming very important to cover. And really, at the end, we need to be able to achieve sustainability, and we need to dwell on each of these items. And also to help achieve better sustainability, how we can do it, what will be the key targets? Better efficiency, better resources use, better cost effectiveness, better environment, better energy security, better management. So really, at the end of the day, we need to be able to achieve these, and these are becoming really critical targets. So in my lab here in Canada, because I have I am also working at the Yıldız Technical University, and as an adjunct professor. And look at here, of course, we have been doing research in various areas, and I have been leading various projects, from hydrogen and fuel cell technologies to renewable energy technologies, energy storage technologies, advanced power generation technologies, innovative HVACR systems, and alternative fuels and production technology. These are sort of a kind of a large portfolio to be able to cover niche technologies. And also very important of course, in the domain of energy, you need to look at from production all the way down to energy management. This is going to be very important. When we look at this, we shouldn't only think that, oh, okay, we produce, that's all. No, when you produce energy, what will be the next? Next, you may need to convert it or store it or transport it, or at the end, of course, it's gonna come down to use it and manage it accordingly so that, you succeed, you use it efficiently. So really the domain is huge. And also, of course, getting into renewables. Renewables will be very important. I always try to use acronyms such as this: resilient. Why renewables? And with the acronyms showing, and renewables are resilient, efficient, natural, effective, wasteless, alternative, bountiful, leader, emergent, and sustainable. When you look at these, and these are becoming really important to emphasize the importance of renewables. And also, of course, you see here, and worldwide, and see the projections. Projections will be in a way, and really ultimately by 2050 is gonna be a kind of carbon neutral. So many countries, probably over 150 countries signed this. So to be carbon neutral by 2050, Turkey has declared that as by 2053 to make it more meaningful. And look at here, what is expected, at least 50% is gonna come from renewables. And of course, US has its own projections and making it in a way similarly, and they're going to be, you see here, a renewable contribution, which is going to be 44%, but along with nuclear and others. So this is something going to be very important. We have been developing a system. Some technologies I will quickly share, and these are solar energy systems, and we have been developing, of course, solar energy systems, and dishes will be very important, basically coming down to solar collectors, and from the dishes to receivers to be able to develop these technologies. And we have been actually receiving the patents for those, or filing them accordingly to get the patents. And these are various technologies, and really new heat engines to be able to generate power using, let's say, a renewable heat or waste heat, and really producing multiple useful outputs such as heat, electricity, and also cooling. System integration is very important, and everything you see around is getting more integrated. And you have got your cell phones. Those are really integrated. You see integrated apps, you know, to be able to manage things. And look at here, for example, in food industry, the integration or combination will be very important. Look at this. 3-in-1, 5-in-1, and 10-in-1. This is going to be something to guide us in engineering when we bring solutions into. And that's why making it this way, so from single generation, for example, to tri-generation, by using the same input to be able to get multiple useful outputs, which will increase the efficiency you see here. And one output, two outputs, three outputs with the same input and produced simultaneously and making it more efficient. And you see multiple commodities, electricity, heat, hot water, cooling, hydrogen, fresh water, etc. You need to even think to increase to cover multiple needs of the society. And also, of course, you see here, you can generate all these. These are something useful. And you see how we can increase the efficiency from single generation to quadro generation, and making it really from one useful output to 4 useful outputs, and to be able to see the efficiency improvement. These are some systems where we have the integrated energy systems implemented for various buildings and applications. I will skip them, but I will show a couple of them which will be very important. These are just some important. This is from the university, having a borehole thermal energy storage system. And this is basically under, this is commons area. Under this, there are 372 boreholes, each 200 meters deep. And to be able to cover the buildings, heating and cooling loads, depending on the seasonal and dynamic load requirements, and making it for 9 buildings. It is a unique system, by the way. So these are just some features of it. I like to show this. This is something very important, and we have been doing it. And in this case, this is developing energy solutions for indigenous communities. Indigenous communities in Canada will be very important. So those are native Indians. And what is happening here to be able to bring solutions, clean energy solutions. And we had multiple projects to look at the options. And one of them was really to use small modular reactors and making it really community-based, and then bringing solutions. And when you look at the small modular reactors, so these are going to be with the capacities going up to, let's say, 300 megawatt electricity. So incorporating the solar energy into this, and to be able to cover all needs from, let's say, power to fresh water, hydrogen, and so on and so forth. And ultimately addressing sustainability, sustainable development goals as put forward by United Nations. Another community applications to look at the same, bringing this time ocean thermal energy conversion systems into, and making it really a kind of community-based energy solutions. And this was targeting Arctic communities, again, indigenous communities there. So what about island communities? And there was one study, really by one of my PhD students to look at this, having renewable energy, and also, of course, incorporating hydrogen production, power generation, also multi-effect desalination, and producing hydrogen and then using it depending on the need in the fuel cell systems. So bringing a kind of sustainable solutions for the island communities to make it really grid independent. So without really depending on the grid. And also this facility, because this is, you see here, and the robotic and electrochemical devices are becoming very important. And the thermal management issue is very important. And you may think about what additional things. Robots, for example, when you look at them, you think, oh, okay, those are some metal pieces. No, when you look at in deep, you see they will require power and they need thermal management. And this is going to be really coming down to heat, cold, and moisture. So these are also very essential to study. So the future is going to be very interesting. And especially when you look at the artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, Internet of Things, and making it very interesting. So we need to learn and implement these in, let's say, into energy systems and applications. And my last topic is going to be really to get into hydrogen. And you see here, and especially when you look at the humankind's energy use. Humankind started with wood, later coal by industrial revolution, and of course, oil, natural gas, and getting into, of course, hydrogen. So carbon hydrogen ratio is going down. And when you look at here, hydrogen is gonna be really to serve as a fuel, energy carrier, and more importantly, as a feedstock. This was the study I put forward. And during the beginning of the pandemic, COVID-19 coronavirus pandemic, and 2020, and it was a kind of closing carbon age, but opening hydrogen age. Why? Now the efforts are around really to develop hydrogen economy. When you look at here, we really need to cure the world, and we have been facing critical challenges from environmental to energetic, even going further down to economic, and we really need to bring solutions. We need more sustainable energy solutions and cleaner, especially to be environmentally friendly. We need solutions. And that's why hydrogen is becoming very important to cure this. Even when you look at the transportation sector, it is, you see here, requiring clean fuels. So this will take me down to clean fuels, hydrogen to ammonia, ethanol, methanol, etc. So making them really clean, not fossil fuel space, rather you see here, renewable sources driven. And these are just some examples. And in terms of what to do, capturing CO2 and then bringing into, let's say, hydrogen, where we can synthesize into, let's say, methane, methanol, ethanol, DME. And so these are some works to show. So I like to make it a little faster so that I will have another meeting coming up. So when you look at here and the future directions in energy systems, And we started, of course, with the primitive ones, and then basic systems, advanced systems, hybrid, integrated. Now we need the more intelligent system. So we need to now design the system in a more intelligent manner and to be able to produce multiple useful outputs and serve in the best possible way to be able to achieve sustainability. So the closing remarks will be really about about a couple of important things to highlight and then finish off. And this is going to be really first step is going to be sustainable education. And sustainable education is going to really dwell on two things: basic sciences and applied sciences. And when you look at this, really in basic sciences, we develop knowledge. And then applied sciences, we turn this knowledge into practical solutions. Engineering dimensions will be very important. And at the end of the day, we really need to develop technologies. And innovation, research, innovation, and commercialization will be very important. Why? Ultimately achieving sustainable development. In sustainable development, there is a need for clean energy solutions. And hydrogen economy is going to be really very critical in this. So I like to stop here. And these are just some books actually by myself and with some of my colleagues and former students. So, and that's all from my side.